Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very, very important live stream. It's going to be a great segment. Hit subscribe right now. We're on our way to 120,000 subs. And tell your friends about this live stream. I have, on average, between 500 and like 1,300 people on the live streams. And it's just awesome. It's a great way to kind of decompress from all the constant bombardment of just basic propaganda. Oh my God, Trump has to meet with Mueller. Why? To do what? He's not even accused of a crime. He didn't collude with Russia. They have no evidence. They're not even certain of a crime. To my super chat, thank you so much for contributing to this channel, and you help give me incentive to rock these live streams. And now we have Bruce and Nellie Orr. Well, Bruce Orr, going way back. So what is an Obama DOJ official doing? What is a DOJ official doing working with a person who writes a dossier compiled with complete fake news? The thing with Democrats is that they use the term fake news as if it's like this big problem for them, but they're the ones who perpetuate most of it. Without fake news, I mean, where would they be? This is insane. If the tables were turned, they would never, ever, ever stand for any of this. So what takes place is you have this multi-million-dollar taxpayer-funded investigation, and the only reason Trump is investigated, the only reason, is because Hillary Clinton purchased, literally outsourced the creation of a Steele dossier that has now caused BuzzFeed to sue the DNC. That's public record, public knowledge. BuzzFeed is suing the DNC because it's being sued for defamation. Christopher Steele is facing lawsuits. Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson, they're facing lawsuits. There's just something, I guess, there's something illegal about publishing information that's libelous. And in let's say potentially publishing information, but they don't have any evidence. They published the evidence, they published the dossier BuzzFeed actually stating it's unverified. Well, why would you publish something that's unverified? When WikiLeaks publishes information, it's completely not only verified, it's pristine. It's so pristine that the truth, which is like the Achilles heel of the Democratic Party, is said to be a Russian plot to swing the election. The truth. According to Democrats and MSNBC and the NSA is moderately confident about this, Russia hacked the DNC, even though there's no evidence that Russia hacked anything. Nobody in the U.S. government even touched the Democratic Party's computer servers. Why did they not touch? Why were they not called first thing? If let's say if you want the government to, you don't want to hand over evidence to the government, there's a problem there. You're hiding something that's obvious. Then you outsource a company to corroborate your claims. Not only is that a conflict of interest, nobody would stand for the ACK. Thank you, the ACK. Thank you. Thank you, the ACK. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. And thank you again, the ACK. And it's like Bruce Orr is the go-between, the liaison, the middleman between Christopher Steele and the FBI. What if somebody within Trump's administration was the go-between that served as a middleman between Christopher Wray and a compilation of salacious gossip that implicates that is the basis of a probe against Hillary Clinton. Then when they double down, they say, no, it's not the basis of a probe. That's just one thing. Well, where's the other piece of evidence that you have? Because the Steele dossier is not evidence, it's gossip. Well, a drunken conversation between Alexander Downer, that too is gossip. And apparently they've known each other. This is really interesting. Apparently, which is bizarre, Christopher Steele has known Bruce Orr since 2002. And I find that very bizarre. So new emails reveal Steele had extensive 2016 contacts with number 4 DOJ official while compiling dossier. So he's the number 4 official at the DOJ under Obama. The former British spy who used Kremlin sources. And that's the thing, that he was, Vanity Fair documented this in an article about how Steele compiled the dossier. And back then they were very proud. Everybody was very proud. Well, he really has Russian sources, And that proves that Trump is in real trouble. But then the propaganda switched to, how dare Trump work with Russia? Or he met with Russians, the foreign power, at Trump Jr., at the Trump Jr. meeting in the Trump Tower. Well, which one is it? Which one is it? Is it okay to work with Russian sources, or is it not okay? Democrats are more guilty. Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much for sharing the segments. I appreciate it. Thank you again. Democrats are more guilty of what they claim Trump is guilty of doing. But I'll read you. The former British spy who used Kremlin sources to assemble a Clinton-funded anti-Trump dossier, which the Obama administration used to spy on the Trump campaign, had extensive contacts with the Department of Justice number 4 official before and after the FBI opened its Trump-Russia probe in the summer of 2016, according to new emails recently turned over to congressional investigators. That official, Bruce Orr, was demoted twice after the DOJ's Inspector General discovered that he lied about his involvement with opposition research Fusion GPS. Glenn Simpson co-founded. Okay, so that official, Bruce Orr, was demoted twice. So he's demoted twice. After he's not fired. Why isn't he fired? After the DOJ's Inspector General discovered he lied about his involvement. Why would he lie about his involvement? And it's like nobody at the Washington Post or the New York Times, nobody cares about this because it implicates them. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I watch the news now, and it's like I don't even flinch. I don't even flinch. I don't even flinch. And it's like everything is just so overtly anti-Trump that you lose. Like they're actually hurting themselves because every day they're throwing everything they have and they still lose to Troy Balderson. And they'll still lose in the midterms, the House and the Senate. The BB Blog. Love and appreciation, HJ. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the BB Blog. Thank you. Thank you, the BB Blog. Thank you so very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. By the way, love Stick, Sex, and Hammer. He's awesome. He gave me a shout out today on Twitter. You won't rest until I'll show you the tweet. It's really cool, actually. It's really cool. Where is it? Right here. He goes, I won't relent till Bearing TV and Shug's Bear and H.A. Goodman hit 10,000 on BitChute also. So it's very, very cool of him. So thank you, Stick, Sex, and Hammer. Thank you very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And yeah, my BitChute was like at 3,000. I was like, whoa. It kind of really increased. So if I can get to 10,000, I bet you that'd be really cool. I would like that. I'm pretty much, slowly moving up from 116,000 here. But the super chats the super chats give me every incentive, and the live chat the live stream is just so fun. It's fun to interact, and it gets me, gets my brain working. I do have to upload though, so I'm going to start uploading in addition to this, of course. But so we have a situation where it's like, why is an Obama DOJ official doing this? Why would he be part of this? This is not national security. This is not intelligence derived from the billions and billions, over $30 billion that we give to just 3 agencies in the intelligence community: FBI, DOJ, and NSA. Like, what can you do with $30 billion? Patricia Moreno, I agree. The Stick says Cali will go red long before Texas goes blue. No, I agree with that. And I'll say this. Outside LA and Sacramento, or no, outside LA and San Francisco. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Somebody said I would make a good sports announcer. Thank you. Outside of LA and San Francisco, like, I have to like drive, outside LA city limits to go to the good, shooting ranges, for example. And the places, outside of Los Angeles, outside of San Francisco, a lot more conservative. In Texas, this is what Democrats and Democratic strategists don't get. They don't get that there are conservative Latinos. 30% of Latinos voted, and there are conservative Asians. 30% of Asians voted for Trump. So, okay, so let's just see. Trump vote 2016 ethnicity. Okay, racial background. Okay, so just go ahead. 2016. So I can go ahead here. So this is the Roper Center at cornell.edu. And so the BB blog, thank you so very much. Gwen Shell, thank you, Gwen. Patricia Marino, this goes in. So I love the super chat because it gets me thinking, gets me going, and it all relates to all of this because, when you talk about the desperate attempts, the desperation on the part of Democrats, and they say, well, the demographic shift is gonna kill Republicans. No, because the conservative movement is growing, and conservatives are actually less inclined. I would say this: there's a more vocal anti-war movement to the right of center than to the left of center. Let's put it that way. Much more vocal. Okay, so you had 28% of Hispanic Americans voting for Trump. Here is the Roper Center. It's almost like as if, and support is growing. Support is growing. So 28% of Hispanic Americans voted for Trump. 28%. And President Trump did not call black youth super predators. Hillary Clinton did. And we can go on and on about a whole lot of things regarding President Obama. And they say, well, one rebuttal is, well, the trend regarding low unemployment started under Obama for Hispanic and black Americans. Yeah, but there was a Jacobin article where I was actually just reading right after I heard that. And it said that the wealth of the average black family decreased the most of any ethnic group under President Obama. I can go and look that article up. I was just reading that today. So, and if you look at like the trend, like Obama and what took place, it's all like poverty levels, unemployment, they all peaked during the middle of his presidency, then they came down. So, and yes, I understand the Great Recession had a lot to do with it, but I don't want to. You have a whole lot of things. It's not like when you try to say that Trump is the epitome of racism, but you look at Obama's record. If that's if just economic and the economic records of both presidents are utilized to prove that point, Trump still has a better record. You have to also, you can't just say, well, oh yeah, and he called nations a poop hole. No, that's hearsay and gossip. Again, there's no documented evidence that he said that. A staffer in a meeting said that he said that. It's all gossip. Well, he said this. Can you believe what he said? And everyone thinks they're WikiLeaks, but it's called gossip and hearsay. Thank you, the BB blog. Thank you. I used to be a lefty too. I used to be a pretty hardcore lefty also. But 12% of African American voters, 8% voted for Trump. You'll probably see 10, 11, 12% voting for Trump, especially if the economy continues to do well. Also, the rebuttal that, well, the trend started under Obama doesn't bolster. If you want to say he's great for the African American community, and you say, well, the trend started under Obama. Okay, fine, I can get that. That's a good rebuttal. Like, yeah, well, it started under Obama. But to say that he's a racist, that doesn't work. You can't say that the guy is a racist, but his economic policies have continued a very positive trend for minority Americans, Black Americans, and Latino Americans, and all that. You can't make that statement. Not categorical. People don't like Trump because they think he's full of like dog whistling, but he doesn't need to dog whistle. He's pretty overt in what he wants communicated. He's not like Clinton with the 3 a.m. ad. Clinton is the one who used racism against Obama, the first black president. Trump didn't need racism to win. People are like, he won because of all these racists. Well, in Ohio, there were racists. You're either racist or Russian if Democrats don't win. You're racist Russians. That's the main thing. If a Democrat loses, you can rest assured that racist Russians, I'm going to write that on Twitter. But so 27% of Asian Americans, and that's growing, by the way. That's growing. So Sarah Jong at the New York Times, obviously, 65% of Asian Americans voted for Clinton, but 27%, and you'll see 30% of Asian American voters voting for Trump. You'll see 30%, over 30% of Hispanic Americans voting for Trump. 27% of Asian Americans, 28% of Hispanic Americans. So let's just say around 30% of each. Okay, then you have, if you want to go by, and then women, 41% voted for Trump, 54% Clinton, but 53% of white women. Well, it says here actually 50. Oh, sorry. No, okay. Well, 53% of white women, yeah. So, no, yeah. Hold on. Let's see. "57% of white people voted for Trump." Wow. So 60%. Wow. So 60% of white people voted for Trump. Actually, around 60. I didn't really know it was that high. But the country's still like, what, 77 or 75% white, something like that. So, And like I said, like the trend is not necessarily people say, oh, well, look at the minorities are going to outpace white voters, but that doesn't mean that suddenly they'll vote for Hillary Clinton. It doesn't mean that, oh, like they're going to vote for the most reviled choice then. It's just really interesting looking at this. I mean, especially when you see this all correlates to, well, what does that have to do with Bruce Orr? It correlates because they went to such great lengths. The number 4 DOJ official worked with Christopher Steele, who then was paid by Hillary Clinton for a dossier used for an FBI investigation. This should never have happened. You can't pay for investigations. It's like a dictatorship or like some kind of Orwellian world. Then this is really bad for. So if you look at the ages, 51% of people ages 30 to 44 voted for Clinton, and 41% of people ages 30 to 44 voted for Trump. And that's with grab them by the you-know-what. And 18 to 29, sure, there's a bigger, but the Democrats are losing millennials now. And millennials don't vote at the same rates as older people. So this is really interesting. Let me go ahead and give you this. Let me give you this. Here it is. It's really, really interesting. So the Roper Center, this is Cornell University, cornell.edu. And when they say, oh, well, you know, Democrats are the party of, no, if you earned $100,000 and $100,000 and over, 47% voted for Democrats and voted for Clinton, and 47% voted for Trump. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? If you earned 50,000 to 100,000, 49% voted for Trump, 46%. Under 50,000, okay, 53% voted for Clinton and 41%. But this is interesting. You say, like, you know, middle class or working class Americans, 50 to 100,000, mostly voted for Trump. Guess who they're going to vote for in a good economy? Trump. He's delivering on his promise. %46 of independents voted for Trump, 42% for Clinton. So Trump beat Clinton in independents. And it's just it's interesting. So and foreign policy, which is just great. Foreign policy, which is why I like Trump. 33% voted for Trump, 60% for Clinton. But the thing is, like, the biggest knock on Trump was that he would destroy the planet. That never happened. That never happened. So, so how the faithful voted? Let's hear this. 2016. That fringe mentality that says everybody is a racist, ogre, monster, supremacist, enabler, sympathizer, extremist, hate-filled person, deplorable. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. So this is interesting. So 24, I thought it was 30%. So 24% of Jews voted for Trump, 71% Clinton. That's interesting. Well, I can tell you it's going to be over 30% or 30%. Next election. I'm voting for Trump 2020. Only two reasons why I wouldn't: a war, or if he extradited and arrested Julian Assange. Other than that, I'm voting for I'm voting for Donald Trump. So 52% of Catholics, Protestant 58%, Mormon 61%. Okay, and that's just interesting. That's interesting. And this is an interesting vote. So that's the Pew Research Center. And so before it was the Cornell University. Then it was Pew, and now it's another Pew Research. Of course, I don't know why it's loading so slow. Anyway, so then they why did white evangelicals, Christians vote for Trump? Like, what kind of ridiculous notion? Like, they're going to vote for Clinton? Really? What is it about Democrats that white evangelical Christians would vote for? That makes no sense at all. If abortion is like one of the biggest issues, they would never vote Democrat. So it's like, it makes no sense at all. It's basically like Democrats and liberal journalists or pundits, they're like always talking to themselves. They're always talking to themselves. They're always saying, well, look, look, you're being hypocritical. You're being hypocritical voting for Trump. Look what he said about women. Well, it's like, it was a hot mic, number one. Number two, here's a guy who's praying with black pastors. How often did you see Obama or even Bush do that? I don't even think Bush did that. And you have more and more minorities voting for Trump. So it's like, okay, so hold on real quick. I just want to check one last piece of information. So %15 of Muslim Americans wanted Trump to win over Clinton. 15%. I don't know why it doesn't say the actual vote. Like everything that you hear, also Muslim Americans are more conservative by and large than the average American. So it's like everything that you hear is like, oh my God, Trump's this racist. No, he's not. And people are smart enough to realize he's not. That's like a media thing. By the standards you would judge Trump, if you don't judge Clinton, if Trump is racist, then Hillary Clinton is a Klan member. Hillary Clinton called black youth super predators. She made a racist joke about Mahatma Gandhi. It's like, and this is, I'm reading, that was the Atlantic. That was an Atlantic article. So anyway, the main thing is that the propaganda is not working. It's just not working. And I'll continue reading. In short, Steele was much closer to the Obama administration than previously disclosed, and his DOJ contact, Bruce Orr, reported directly to Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, who approved at least one of the FISA warrants to surveil Trump campaign aide Carter Page. So Sally Yates was a part of it. Rosenstein was a part of it, and he didn't even read the FISA warrant. He's like, oh, I didn't read it. I didn't have to. They're so arrogant. They're just so arrogant. Steele and the Orrs would have breakfast together on July 30th. Steele and the Orrs, July 30th. Really? At the Mayflower Hotel in downtown Washington, D.C., while Steele turned in installments of his infamous dossier between July 19th. How is that even possible? So breakfast occurred one day before the FBI formally launched Operation Crossfire Hurricane. This is crazy. One day before the investigation into Trump is launched. One day before, you have Bruce and Nellie Orr meeting with Christopher Steele. And it's like, it's if the tables were turned, it's just unbelievable. If the tables were turned, they would never, ever stand for it. They would never stand for it. And the interesting thing is also, like I said, they suck at cheating. They suck at propaganda. They're horrible at cheating. They lose and cheat. And you could see how it's just like the complete and utter meltdown. So they vented their frustration like they always do. They turned left. They vented their frustration at the Green Party. So it's like they have everything. You want to use the word weaponize? Well, no, I disagree with that. I have a lot of Muslim friends, and I think that the religion, like any religion, you can have, if you want to say, oh, there's more people who are extreme, whatever. There are a lot of really wonderful Muslim people. So I don't agree with the mentality that, you know, to paint everyone with one brush. I wouldn't want people to say, oh, you know, all Jewish people are this or so. I mean, they're good and bad in every religion. I think that's just a pretty honest way of saying that. If you want to talk about specific issues, fine. A specific issue pertaining to whatever. But to say like all of any religion, you know, there's what, over 1 billion Muslims in the world. So, but that's, I think, like, you have like the extreme, like when you don't like when the left says every conservative is a Nazi alt-right. Well, then don't say that all Muslims or all Jews or all Christians or all whatever. Then you have certain Christians saying all Mormons. Then in some parts of the world, all Catholics, all Protestants. I mean, the thing is, like, everybody wants to go ahead and, it's easy, like superlatives are easy to kind of just insult everyone. Always this way. Michael C., she also called Robert Byrd her mentor. Yeah. The thing is, the Clintons have been overtly and surreptitiously racist, and nobody cared. That's when people say, well, why are you bringing up Clinton? Because of the hypocrisy. You say that somebody is, now that's the whole thing. It's the dog whistle. Oh, it's the dog whistle. Oh, he didn't need crazy bigoted people to win. 60 million Americans are not all crazy. Many of these people voted for Trump, for Obama twice. The kind of, there's a certain liberal mentality also that doesn't fly, like that kind of mentality that I don't want to go in like. So how is it that Bruce and Nellie Orr have lunch with Christopher Steele, and then so Steele and Orr would have breakfast together on July 30th at the Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C., while Steele turned in installments of his infamous dossier. The breakfast also occurred one day before the FBI formally launched Operation Hurricane. So obviously, there's a lot going there between Bruce Orr. Nellie Orr worked for Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele. And why would this dossier be used to start an investigation? It's not even part of U.S. intelligence. Great to see you and Nellie this morning, Bruce. Steele wrote shortly after following their breakfast meeting. Let's keep in touch on the substantive issues. Glenn is happy to speak to you on this if it would help. What substantive issues? All of these people are having their text message. They document everything. That's the stupid thing. It's like the guy from, is either Goodfellas or Casino. They document everything. They document like real time. They document real time. All of this. Great to see you and Nellie this morning, Bruce. Okay, let's keep in touch on the substantive issues. Wow. Then Orr followed up on Steele's meeting offer and met with Simpson on August 22nd. What on earth is Obama's DOJ official while he's in the DOJ, while he's under President Obama's administration? August 26, 2016. What on earth is he doing meeting with Christopher Steele? Like, I ask questions all the time. Like, I've asked questions all the time for months and months and months and months. And, I don't call myself H. H predicts. H predicts. H predicted this. But what is he doing? It's craziness. So not only do they meet with Christopher Steele, but they meet with Fusion GPS as well. And at the end of the day, like, the Mueller probe is like, well, what do you have? Like, what do you really have? They don't have anything. They don't have anything. What on earth do they have? What on earth do they have to go ahead and and get Trump on. They're going to meet with Trump for what? Well, we have to meet with him. We have to ask him. Either look, you don't need to ask him anything. If he's ever gets to a trial, that'll be because there's evidence. And it's like I stated in 2015 that Clinton would lose. They said I'm crazy. They said I was crazy. Okay, hit pieces, and I wrote in the Hill. It was like I was a contributor to the Hill, in the Huffington Post, and so on this YouTube channel. And when I was on MSNBC and CNN, stating the same thing. She's under investigation. I wrote in 2017 in the Daily Caller that exactly what took place with Tony Podesta. Look, Mueller is going to go ahead. It's the next big target. And that's true. Here's the article, Daily Caller. Let's see, Daily Caller. H predicted. Have I been right all the time? No. Am I perfect? No, I'm a human being. But I have a pretty good pulse of what's going on. Pretty good pulse. And when she gets charged and indicted, oh my God, you will see that the duplicitous, sinister media jettison her pretty quick. About a week of outrage, then they'll be like, you know what? Maybe it's good. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, Gina Haspel, doesn't matter who. If the CIA person is hired under Trump, you can pretty much rest assured that things are going to change in a lot of ways. Tony Podesta may be Mueller's big target, November 16, 2017. And I explain exactly why Tony Podesta is going to be Mueller's big target right here. Right here. Okay. So predicted that also. The second the Steele dossier, the second you can go back in 2017, it's all nonsense. And now we're finding out. I talked about Bruce Orr a lot in 2017 also. I explained all Comey. It's so overt too. But anyway, I'll read. This is interesting because now they're having lunch and I'm saying they're always meeting up for lunch or dinner or drinks. What is it with these people? Like they just hang out and just drink and eat and they're just always on taxpayer dollars, by the way, just to let you know. By the way, if you're Australian, one day I actually looked at the menu of the bar that the restaurant that that Papadopoulos and Downer went. I'm telling you, if you're Australian, taxpayer money, because he put it on the taxpayer card. Okay. It's like one of those places, $15 for a martini. $16. It's expensive. All right. You don't just have, and then for a great wine or a good wine, $17. Okay. So, and then of course the appetizers, then food, whatever. You're looking at with two guys drinking like crazy. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So whatever. And that was taxpayer funded by Australia and just to interfere in our election, along with the stupid Steele dossier, the dumb, idiotic Steele dossier. So, but anyway, so Daily Caller, I'll show it to you again. I wrote this in 2017, and H told you. And it's like, not right about everything, but I'm pretty much have the pulse of what's going on. You know who's really good, really, really good, who I listen to and I enjoy? Styx X and Hammer. And I'm not just saying that because he gave me a shout out today. I do enjoy, and I told my audience, let's put it this way, I've been singing the praises of Styx when I had more subs than he did. And then like with him and me, it was like a Lamborghini and like a, you know, a tricycle. Like, but he deserves it because he's awesome. And I have no idea how anyone would consider him controversial in any way. He's the most sane, level-headed guy. Yeah, Styx is awesome. HB, Hard Bastard, is awesome too. Hard Bastard is very... I've subscribed to both their channels. They're both amazing. So then you have the issue. Okay, so Steele... So then you have like... This is really bizarre too. In all, Orr's notes, emails, and text identify more than 60 contacts with Steele and or Simpson, dating back to 2002 in London. The vast majority from 2006. So it's like, what the F? Joseph Gordis, leaked quote. How else can you get tax-paid opposition research on Trump? While they're distracted, we can clean up this mess. Pretty much is what took place. Yeah. It's pretty much what took place, Joseph. I mean, you know, and it's not... I have a buddy who's an anesthesiologist, and I grew up with him. Great, one of my dear friends. And he knows like it's a bunch of nonsense, but you know, he'll vote Democrat, but he knows he's one of the people that like knows that the whole Russia thing's a bunch of nonsense, but he's like, well, you know, it could happen. We don't really know. Like but then when you press him on it, like I did, you know, I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't know? And he's like, well, yeah, I guess, you know. But then, you know, it's like, it's like he's a very, very intelligent guy who it just occupies some of his reasoning why Trump is bad. He knows it's a bunch of nonsense. He's smart enough to know it's a bunch of nonsense because obviously you'd have to be pretty gullible to think that Trump worked with Putin to hack the DNC to inform people of how horrible Hillary was. Like, we already knew that. We already knew that Bernie was not being treated fairly. The confirmation was that, okay, it's in their own words. But like, let us know something we didn't know prior. Like, oh, I thought Hillary was pure as the driven snow. I thought that she was such a great person. Oh my God, I would have voted Hillary. And then I found out that she was cheating Bernie. Like, she had like the Comey letter sunk her campaign more than the DNC and Podesta emails. And Julian Assange should be free. He should be free. What did he do? What did he do wrong? He did nothing wrong. A publisher? He's a publisher, not even a U.S. citizen. He's not a U.S. citizen. He's an Australian citizen and an Ecuadorian citizen. And right now, the Senate wants to speak with him. But, I mean, he'll probably, I hope he'll be like, you know, as you know, because hopefully, like, he'll be like, as you know, this, and that. And they're like, oh, my God, how does he know this? Oh, my God, it's true. The whole thing's nonsense. Like, nobody is believing this. It's kind of like when the funny joke, like, I can hear you, you know, like, it's like people talking about you. You realize that you can hear everything, you see everything right before you. It's obvious fabrication. Nobody really believes that Trump worked with Russia. And it's just so arrogant and annoying when people are like, oh, yeah, well, you know. One guy on Twitter, like, I think a journalist, or I forgot who, was, well, some guy on Twitter is like, oh, yeah, well, you should do everything the opposite of what Carter Page does. Why? Because he was investigated by Brennan and by Comey. Based on what? For what purpose? Disturbingly, Steele appears to have been lobbying for a pro-Putin Russian oligarch and Paul Manafort associate Oleg Deripaska, while the former UK spy was also involved in the anti-Trump effort. Asking Bruce Orr to monitor Deripaska's efforts. Well, why? I mean, it's like Christopher Steele's working for an oligarch, but he's still trying to pretend that, you know. And they work to try to get the guy a visa, all these things. Like, at a certain point, Trump is just going to have to declassify a lot right away. And that's it. That's it. Declassify a lot right away and end this nonsense. And I think that Trump is playing the long game. I mean, he has to be, because he holds all the cards now. Trump holds all the cards. He knows about Bruce Orr. He knows about Comey leaking memos. He knows about Andrew McCabe. Andrew McCabe's pretty much done. If Andrew McCabe's legal future rests upon him, you know, whether the DOJ wants to press charges, and I believe he'll eventually get indicted. But I mean, it's like you pretty much know all of this is a cover-up. So Clinton committed crimes because she was so utterly corrupt. Yes, Johnny Ramone. All of them. Dee Dee, Joey. Yeah. The Ramones were awesome. Old school, like hardcore work ethic. They would, I mean, travel nonstop. They up until, you know, they're in their 40s or 50s, I think, or 40s, late 40s. They're still traveling and doing gigs, and, you know. Markey, yeah. Joe Brennan. So, oh, nice. AKA The Agenda. You saw the Ramones in concert in 1989. That must have been awesome. Tamara Friedman. Tamara Friedman. I know this takes a long time. I know this takes a long time to get all the criminals. Lionel was so negative on the timeline that POTUS is working with. Hashtag turn off. You know, I mean, I guess he was, it's very difficult to kind of like, it's kind of difficult to like all of this. Oh my God. Trying to, like, it's kind of difficult to, am I looking at this? It's kind of difficult to like, reading say it's kind of difficult to deal with the timeline because we want everything done so quickly. But there was a 757 gigantic plane in Arkansas today that the DOJ, it was a DOJ plane. So the local news reported, local radio reported a DOJ plane with DOJ officials loading boxes of information and documents. So it's like, pretty much know what's going on. And Tamara Friedman, I agree with you. I think what's taking place tomorrow, and everyone, I think that Trump is waiting for them to do a Balderson and, you know, Troy Balderson. Oh, we have to wait for the provisional ballots, you know, the provisional ballots. Meanwhile, like, Connor Lamb didn't win outright either. And everyone's like, Connor Lamb won. Yay, Connor Lamb. He's amazing. He's a pro-gun Democrat. So, and they're 8 out of 11. They lost 8 out of 11, and they have complete and utter media collusion. Everyone, I think Trump is crazy. I can't find the Mika Brzezinski. I can't find the. This is the best one. It's the best one. Mika Brzezinski. Great deal of respect for Mika Brzezinski. Fantastic person. Hold on. Trump is so the Trump mental health one. Oh my God. And then she looks at the screen like this. Like she's like so like heartbroken to talk about it. Meanwhile, Clinton's like, I survived Bosnian sniper fire. No one cares. Hold on. Mika Brzezinski, Putin, Helsinki, Trump mental. So it's just awesome. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, of course. On American, this is Madeleine Albright. Like, what is she talking about? Madeleine Albright and Clinton presided over a literal, real, horrific genocide in Rwanda. Did nothing. What did Madeleine Albright, Rwanda? Just type in. She was a fantastic Secretary of State there. Wow. Madeleine Albright. Then she says to PBS, where does Rwanda sit for you on a personal and emotional level? This is how they justify the most heinous atrocities that happen under their watch. So with Obama, Libya is like, well, you know, I really, I'm really sorry about it. It was my biggest mistake. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, like Trump has a great economy, peace between North and South Korea. He's a monster, racist, enabler, supremacist ogre who should be banned. Banned. Any way possible, banned. And ban Trump. And with Albright, the person who is now talking about Trump being un-American, the wonderful stateswoman, the amazing Madeleine Albright. Where does Rwanda sit for you? Oh, I don't know, like 1 million people perishing, murdered. Okay. With machetes, by the way. With machetes. Okay. And then Madeleine Albright on MSNBC. Trump's behavior is un-American. Because he didn't punch Putin in the face. What did you want him to do? Okay. April Connolly. Okay, HA, your confidence HRC will brought to justice. Thoughts on Obama. April, I am virtually certain HRC Hillary will get charged. I don't think actually she'll ever serve jail. With Obama, nothing. No charge, no jail, nothing. Absolutely nothing. With Hillary, you can, the writing's on the wall. She'll get charged with a crime. I don't see her doing any jail time, though. So. And Tamara Friedman, let me get this straight. Hillary flies her files on a private plane, but her and Bill fly commercial. That's good. That's good, Tamara Friedman. That's good. That's good. It's true. Well, I mean, you know, to go ahead and charge her with I mean, you need a 757 just for one aspect of all our criminal behavior. You basically need Space Force. So if you had like a Space Force fleet, it would be like all the evidence shoved into the spaceships. That would be enough to, like, you know, just part of the indictment. But April Connolly, thank you so very much. Tamara Friedman, thank you so very much. But here's the wonderful Madeleine Albright. Why you regret? And I don't know, the front line's amazing. I'm like, well, why do you regret it? Oh, maybe because it was under their watch. They did nothing. Where does Rwanda sit for you on a personal and emotional level? Madeleine Albright, it sits as the greatest regret that I have from the time I was UN ambassador. Oh, okay, so she was UN ambassador, which even worse. And maybe even Secretary of State. No. She was Secretary of State on the Dwama thing. Oh, at the time of the genocide, she was UN ambassador. Even worse. She was the United States ambassador at the time. Then she eventually was Secretary of State. But are you kidding me? You were even closer. You're even closer to the carnage and barbarism. You did nothing because it was a huge tragedy. Yeah, that's an understatement, and something that sits very heavy on all our souls. Oh, gee. But can go ahead and condemn Trump for not punching Putin in the face. Why regret? Because I wish it had been possible for us to do more. Liar. It was possible for us to do more. And President Clinton said how much he regretted it. No. Black Hawk Down. When was Black Hawk Down? Early on. That's right. So early on in his presidency, Black Hawk Downs. After Somalia, Clinton didn't want anything to do. And even though there were warning signs of Rwanda, we did nothing. But then, under the guise of helping citizens, we bombed Libya, which turned out not only to, because there was one professor, a lot of people have said the bombing in Libya not only prolonged, created a much bigger civil war, and the civil war would have ended with Gaddafi winning, and not all the carnage and not all the safe havens for ISIS and all these things. Why I regret? Because I wish I had done more for us. I wish it would have been possible for us to do more. No, it was possible. I reviewed that record a lot, and I don't think actually we could have done more. What? It's like, so you don't regret anything then? I just wish that it had not been something that the international community was not capable of dealing with. What are you talking about? You know, I have been to Rwanda many times. I went and met with orphans and widows. I went to see the mass graves. I saw the blood in the stadiums. So it's just horrible, horrible story. Yeah, and you did nothing. And you were UN ambassador, even closer to. So go ahead and judge Trump. Anyway, Mika Brzezinski. I'm trying to find. President Trump showed cowardice on the world stage. Why? Because you think that it's going to be 9/11 soon, and these people think that the DNC hack was like 9/11. They're completely out of their effing brains. Do you understand? They're out of their minds. They're out of their minds. Let's just go. This was okay. You know what? I can't find the recent one, but here, Trump mental health. I can't find the recent one, but every year, Mika Brzezinski, it's like the yearly Mika Brzezinski Trump has mental problems episode. So hold on. Time to ask mental health professional. Oh, pff. And they have, what's his name? Howard Dean, the poster child for mental health. Joe, why is Donald Trump impotent when it comes to this? That's a nice word. Oh, here it is. I can't pretend. Oh, this was 1 year ago, by the way. This was 1 year ago. Meanwhile, great economy, all of these things. Here, this is great.
Well, let's see where it goes to. Hillary Clinton opened her speech in Reno.
So you talk about, this is a fantastic way to open up a discussion about mental health by bringing up Clinton, who, well, let's not even, we don't even have to discuss that.
We're talking about
the irony is missed upon all these people.
Jobs and small businesses, but she spent little time on the subject, quickly shifting to Donald Trump. She called his message to the Black community in recent days insulting. And
this, by the way, she used a racist 3 a.m. ad. You talk about dog whistles. She needed votes. Trump didn't need votes of racists. He won 30 states. To vote Democrat, voted twice for President Obama. You can't say people in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are these racist. Oh, no. They voted twice for. Michigan and Pennsylvania haven't voted for a Republican since 1988 in a presidential election. Wisconsin hasn't voted for a Republican since 1984. You're talking about states that voted Clinton twice and Obama twice. So he doesn't need a dog whistle.
And said he doesn't have the solutions to take on systemic disturbing that's in the convention hall.
Never stop
talking. A moment of reckoning. Do you agree? What do you think of Hillary Clinton's speech?
Where's this? Oh, here we have. I can't pretend. Oh, okay. No. That's not the one. Trump. Where is it? I'm sorry. Oh my God. One day I'll find it. It's the greatest line. Because she's basically like, he has mental problems. He has mental problems. And everybody knows it. Nobody has the guts to say anything. Meanwhile, like, I think that it was like, oh, his speech. I think it was the Delaware speech in Ohio. That's the part of the district that actually won it for. Well, he won every part except Franklin, every like district except Franklin. Troy Balderson did. But it was right after the Trump speech, the rally in Pennsylvania, or no, sorry, in Ohio. and where he's just like, the crowd loves him. He's making jokes. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And, it's like, and she's like, Donald Trump, you can see him slurring his words. I think she said that. He's just not mentally there. And everybody knows it. And then the other guy, and then there's another guy there's like, I know Donald Trump, I've met him, and I think there's something wrong with him also. At this point, they're trolling themselves or talking, whatever. Larry Gorky, check out Handy Mayhem, aka Uncle Hotep, HA. I will. I've watched Uncle Hotep before. He's good. Thank you, Larry Gorky. Thank you. Joseph Grodis. Mueller is making evidence of Democrat corruption under OB disappear. That's his main goal. Everything else, Russia probe, is a distraction. Yeah, I mean, I think that, Joseph, he's probably, like, there's definitely a smokescreen, but I think there's so much evidence and corruption that even Mueller, and then Mueller is like, see, if he reaches too much, it could backfire because he really doesn't have much to work with. I think Mueller is being propelled by the media to do something he ultimately knows will fail. He's being propelled by the media, and he's more than happy to do so because he's in the news. He loves to be, in power, FBI director, but I think ultimately he knows that the end game, the long game, resides with Trump. Joseph, thank you. Joseph Grodis, thank you. Mitchell Diamond saw a video on SG from Dark Web. Mitchell Diamond, thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to return. Basically, it's all a bunch of nonsense. And you have an Obama DOJ official working with a Clinton paid for, working to help communicate and disseminate a Clinton paid for, bought and paid for opposition research pile of nonsense. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Thank you so very, very, very much. And I will be back soon. God bless. To my super chat, thank you so very much. Thank you, Deputy Dog. Thank you, everyone. Eric, H526, thank you. As always, I will see you soon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe.